All right, let's try this again. Let us try this again. I know that this works on my phone, so hopefully Zane does not need me staring at his monitor. So I'm gonna wait a second to see who hops on. Let me see if I can tag people. And then I'll get started. I hope everyone's having a great day. And yeah, happy flippin' Wednesday. Trying to see who all is on and tag those peeps. So I let you guys know that I was waiting for my little nugget to go down, and then I was gonna come live with my story. So hopefully some of you can hop on live. If not, no big deal. Just watch the replay and let me know if you have any questions or anything. But I completely understand. You guys are going to hear with my story that I had to work full-time as a special education teacher for a majority of my Scentsy business until I was able to come home. So that's really what I want to talk with you guys about this morning. So I'm gonna wait a little bit and see who hops on. Hey, let's see who we got. Hey, Alex, Kayla, Katie, Sylvia. Hi, guys. Yeah, I will wait about one more minute and then get started. I don't have too long with the baby laying down, but all right. So wait a little bit longer and then we will go. Good morning, Trish. Doing good, doing good. It's supposed to be in the 70s today and I am hype for it. Hype. We're gonna go on a walk. We're gonna do all the things outside. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and get started. Something that we talked about with this program, myself and the other SSDs that are putting this program on, we wanted to come on here some point in time and tell you guys about our stories with Scentsy. It's really something that we forget about a lot, especially those of us who have been with Scentsy for so long, that our stories are important and our stories can resonate with somebody else. Because you guys might look at all of us and think that we have it all figured out and we have it all together. And I'm going to tell you right now, none of us do. We are learning every single day. We have learned throughout this entire process. And we all come from a different place in life. And now Scentsy has, replaced full-time income. But it wasn't always like that. So I don't want you guys to ever look at any of us that are at the top of the compensation plan at Superstar Director and think, wow, if I could just get there, I'll have it all together. It's not the case. So hopefully this will resonate with some people and you guys can, be blessed by this story. So for those of you who do not know me, I'll introduce myself again. My name is Amber Ryan, formerly Amber Willoughby. That was my maiden name, and I joined Scentsy in April of 2016. I had been using Scentsy for about 2.5 years at that time, and I fell in love instantly with the warmers. The cream tulip lampshade, I'm looking over at it. I have it in my office on to remind myself of where I came from in my journey. So it was the cream tulip lampshade and a bar of shimmer that got me addicted to Scentsy. I was living in Greenville, North Carolina at the time. I went to East Carolina University for special education. And I was obsessed with candles, obsessed with fragrance. I grew up in a house where we always had candles going. So fragrance was a really big part of my life. And when I saw one of my friends who was my sponsor, selling Scentsy, I was like, you know what, like everybody's starting to use it in Greenville. I need to jump on the bandwagon. So I got the Cream Tulip Lamp Shade Warmer and the Shimmer, and it was a freaking game changer. I started using everything from the laundry products to the counter clean. We didn't have diffusers or anything at the time, so I was using those consistently. I was asked multiple times to join Scentsy, and I ignored. So if you get an ignore, it does not mean that it is an ignore forever. I never had a party. I actually was given a bag party several times and said from my sponsor, if you bring this to work, which I was teaching in Greenville, if you bring this to work and let your coworkers smell it, get orders, you can get free Scentsy. I wanted nothing to do with that. I wanted nothing to do with it, okay? I was like, I will share it with my roommate because she was at my house. And that was it for me, okay? So I kept buying just full price. We didn't have club, we didn't have anything like that, or Scentsy didn't at the time. And fast forward, so that was for about 2.5 years I was using the products. Loved the products, just never had a party and always ignored the join opportunity. Fast forward to 2015, I started, and I'm gonna be very real and raw with you guys, okay? So if I cry, if I, if you get chills, whatever, this is the real deal. 2015, I started dabbling with the idea of moving back to Wilmington, North Carolina, which is where I am from. And I had been living in Greenville for 7 years. So I graduated college and started teaching there. And I have been dabbling with the idea of moving back to Wilmington, and my boyfriend at the time lived in Wilmington, so I was like, I want to go back home. So I decided halfway through the school year that I was going to move from Greenville, which was Pitt County Schools, to Wilmington, to New Hanover County Schools. I had a job opportunity. I got the job. So I was moving in the middle of the school year. If you know anything about teaching, you get paid 10 months if you are a school employee, 10 months, and you can opt for a 12-month pay, okay? So, and actually before this, guys, I was doing another direct sales company. So I did another direct sales company. I knew that I needed another income because teaching wasn't it. Teaching salary is a joke. And don't even get me started on that because you cannot live a life on your teacher salary alone. So single teacher salary alone, did another direct sales company, stopped doing that direct sales company because it was not consumable. It was not easy to sell. So December of 2015, I decided that I was going to move back, and what I did not know is that my 12-month pay was not going to follow me, even though I was still in the state of North Carolina. So I had to figure out real quick what in the world I was going to do because my 12-month pay, where I had a steady income every single month, was going away. I was not going to get paid June and July. And I was like, okay, well, my bills aren't going to go away. The bank is not going to say, okay, well, you're fine. You moved in the middle of the month. No, you still got to pay your bills. Okay. So I was dabbling with the idea of, okay, well, am I going to start waiting tables again? Am I going to be a nanny? What in the world am I going to do? I'm a teacher. I don't have that much money to, there was no money saved up. Let's be serious. There was no money saved up. I did not know what I was going to do. So I made a post, and I was just like, okay, anyone know any restaurants that are hiring for the summer? Anyone know any babysitting jobs? And my sponsor commented and was like, you already know what I'm going to say. And so I started thinking about it, saw her post a pair of shoes for a trip that she earned again. And the trip, I think it was to Disney, and it was for free. And I was like, you know what? something's got to give. If this is working for her, why can't I make it work too? Okay. So I was watching for 2.5 years, success after success, trip after trip. And I was like, you know what? I grew up in a wonderful family. Don't get me wrong. But the love language of trips wasn't it. Traveling was not it. So I was like, I want to travel for free. On a teacher's pay, I couldn't travel. Okay. I didn't have that extra money. I want to travel for free. I want to go on these trips. I want to be able to have this extra money to spend on myself to buy a pair of shoes if I want to buy a pair of shoes. So I went on her website and I pressed join. And then I texted her. Okay. And guys, I never looked back. I never looked back. I went on there, pressed join, and I texted her and I said, okay, now what? We did a home launch party. This is where I fell in love with home launch parties. I was living with my ex at the time. So I was at his house and fell in love. And that was where I saw how easy it was to share Scentsy and everyone fall in love with it. So right then and there, I booked parties from that party. And that was what I did. I built my business doing home parties. I am a very much so love to be around people, extrovert. If you know me in real life, if you're seeing me this weekend in Raleigh, you will see that. But that's how I built my business. Fast forward a couple months, I went to Scentsy Family Reunion in Nashville, only being a consultant for a few months. And that really was a huge eye-opener. It was a huge eye-opener because I was able to see what this company was that I joined. I was able to see all these people around me, network with all these people, make relationships that I didn't know would last a lifetime. Chastity Robinson is actually one of those people that we got in the car, her, myself, and Macy Cox, and are all superstar directors. We were, Macy was a director, Chastity was a superstar consultant, and I was a star consultant at the time. Got in the car with them, and we all rode to Nashville together in a car, had never met each other before. And that was literally the pivot point of doing it scared. I did it scared. I didn't know these girls from Adam. I stayed with them in a hotel, and I experienced my very first world tour. I'll go back and find some pictures for you guys and post them for you guys. But that was where I saw, okay, this is possible. Look at all these people. All these people. I listened to Mel Robbins. She was our keynote speaker at Nashville, and it was wonderful. It was a game changer for me. So I came back from Scentsy Family Reunion and found out through my parents that my boyfriend at the time was cheating on me. So I wasn't teaching because it was summer. I had this brand new business, and I honestly didn't look at it as a business at that time. And I'm like, what in the world am I going to do? What am I going to do? All I knew was fight and flight, right? Packed up my house, packed up my things, and I moved back in with my parents for 6 months. So I went from this area in my house, this life that I had known, this Scentsy space that I had made for myself, this little tiny office area in the kitchen that I moved up into a spare bedroom. I had this ripped out from underneath me. Everything that I had known, everything that I had built so far in my Scentsy business. And I think at the time when that happened, I was a superstar consultant. So when I tell you guys I hit the ground running, I hit the ground running in my business. So I had to move back in with my parents. So I think I was 24, 25 at the time. I think I was 25. And moving back in with my parents for 6 months, having no clue what to do, but I didn't put my kit down. I didn't put my kit down, and I made what I had work, okay? So if you can envision this, 25-year-old moving back in with my parents, not knowing what I'm doing in this Scentsy thing. And I made a space in their spare bedroom. I made a space and I made it my Scentsy space. And I did lives for my teams there. with 1 or 2 people showing up. I had team meetings at my parents' house. I did those every single month with the little team that I had. And I did what I had to do, okay? If you know anything about being an adult and moving back in with your parents, I'm so thankful for them. But me and my dad almost got a divorce. We are the exact same person. And because of Scentsy, I was able to move out of my parents' house into a 1-bedroom apartment in January. Okay, so that happened, I think it was the end of July, right when I got home from Scentsy Family Reunion. And I was able to get a 1-bedroom apartment in January on a teacher's salary because of Scentsy. Okay, so I forget about that a lot. I forget that, you know, life happened hard at the very beginning of my Scentsy journey. And it was a pivotal moment that was a deciding factor. Could I still do Scentsy with life being thrown at me and life still happening? And I just decided that it could. I decided that I wasn't going to put my kid down. So listen to me when I tell you life is going to happen. Life is going to happen. And there's nothing you can do about it. There's nothing you can do about it. So this 1-bedroom apartment that I was so excited about, guys, so excited about, because number one, it was mine. It was mine. And I didn't have any space for my Scentsy stuff. I had no space. So my Scentsy closet office. So for those of you who are on my team, if you're watching this and you're around at that time, it was literally a coat closet. And my office space was my kitchen table. Okay, so rewind a little bit. Let me tell you about meeting my husband. So I went through this really bad breakup, right? And I could say, woe is me. I mean, it was awful. It was awful. It was the only time in my life I remember falling to my knees and crying to God and saying, please tell me why this is happening. Why is this happening? It was a really bad relationship. He was really mentally abusive. I could go on, but it made me who I am today. And so a month into that, of being back with my parents at the age of 25, I think I was 25. I was either 24 or 25. I'm going to have to figure this out because I'm very OCD and I got to figure that out for sure. My husband was introduced to me through my sponsor and her husband. He was the best friend of the husband growing up. And they said, well, he just went through a really bad breakup and he lives in Leland, which is funny because this is where we live now. And you guys should go on a date. And I'm like, absolutely not. We are not doing this. We are not doing this. And we went on a date. He picked me up from my parents' house. And he was so good. This is my husband I'm talking about, y'all. So good. So good that he went to a home party with me, a Scentsy home party with me, the week he met me. And he was such a champ. He came with me. He mingled with the husbands that he didn't even know me from Adam. He mingled with the husbands. And then after that week, I said, you're too good to be true. I'm not talking to you anymore. So he didn't give up on me. So here we are. Been married since 2020 and we have a precious baby boy. But he was there as the voice of reason for me. So in my 1-bedroom apartment, and y'all are getting the full details of my story here. There's parts of my story that I forget. So in my 1-bedroom apartment, he was gracious enough to let me have his furniture in my apartment so that we had furniture in there. He moved in with me unofficially, very quickly, once I finally woke up and my mom said, you need to talk to Anthony. You need him. He's great. He was my voice of reason. He was my best friend before we officially started dating. And that's where that went. But with my Scentsy business, I kept it going. I kept it going, and I didn't stop the fact that I didn't have this extravagant office that I thought I needed. I had a coat closet that was literally, there was nothing to it. It was a coat closet. I had some, a 3 thing of like wired shelves in there. That's where I had my stuff. That's where I kept my laptop. And when I needed to do trainings, I did it on my phone, on my tiny team page. I did orders all on the floor. I did it all on there. It's crazy where I came from. Humble beginnings, guys. So if you're just starting out and you're like, I don't have a lot, that's okay. This business has been set up to where you don't need stock. And I cannot emphasize that enough. You do not need anything to be successful in this business other than testers underneath people's noses, catalogs, and your voice, okay? And a website, okay? And workstation and teaching yourself. And there was noise on Zane's crib, so hopefully he's okay. I'm gonna keep going. So, my 1-bedroom apartment, and then from there, we were able to move into a townhouse, a 3-bedroom townhouse, and we went down to a 2-bedroom townhouse. But during this entire time, I was still teaching, okay? I was still full-time special education teacher. And when I say special education teacher, guys, I was teaching a classroom, intensive behavior support. I was drained day in and day out. I was tired. I had anxiety through the roof. I went through a period of time where I had very serious migraines, and I had every single reason to give up. I don't have time. I don't have time to have parties. I don't have time to train my team. I don't have time to get new customers. I don't have time to drop off these orders, but I still did it. I worked every single day as a special education teacher. On my times where I could sneak on my phone, I snuck on my phone. I placed orders for customers, limited time offers. We didn't have a lot of those when I was going through the beginning, okay? Those are sprinkles on the cake. I still had to party. I still had to expand my customer base. I still had to do all of those things even though I was exhausted from my full-time job. And I never truly thought that I would be able to walk away from teaching to do this thing full-time. But when I saw that spark, when I saw one of my paychecks and I said, this can be real. This can be real. Look what's happening. That's when it changed for me. When I finally said, you know what? I'm tired of just putting in 1,000 PRV a month. Let's see what happens if I do a minimum of 2,000 PRV a month. That's when it changed for me. Because when I finally decided to step out of my comfort zone and to not just do the bare minimum, when the world turned and changed into this crazy unknown during COVID, that's when I was like, okay, we're going to figure this out. The teacher in me said, I'm going to teach myself and we're going to figure out how to change this. Guys, I had never had a successful Facebook party when COVID happened. So I hit director in 2017. I stayed stagnant at director until I started really learning and digging and working with people and helping them reach their goals. I hit star director in 2019. I hit superstar director in 2020. So there's no timeline on when you can accomplish the things that you want to accomplish. It's all about your work ethic and putting the excuses to the side. So when COVID hit and the world shut down, I didn't know what to do other than figure out how to make a Facebook party work, okay? Home parties are way different. Being in person, I'm a people person. Couldn't do that. The world was running out of toilet paper. Just a whole thing. I block it out of my head. I don't even want to remember it. I taught myself how to have a successful Facebook party. And that's when it changed. That's when I was able to reach more people, because a lot of people can access Facebook or online way easier than they can getting together. And that's where it changed for me. So because of Scentsy, because of me staying the course, because of me listening to people who were doing it successfully, because of me not reinventing the wheel, me taking what was working for them and making it my own, me being consistent in the things that matter, which we're talking hardcore on partying and PRV this week. Because of those things, what you see today is a result of Scentsy working for me. And it worked for me because I stayed the course. Because when I was told no or I was ignored, which I still get every single day, I get ignored and I get told no more than you guys will ever know. But one thing I don't do is give up. I stay consistent with it. In 2020, the year that we got married debt-free. We bought a house because of Scentsy. I was still teaching full-time, guys. Still teaching full-time. I bought this house, and this is not to brag. This is to tell you guys what Scentsy can do for you. I bought this house. My name is solely on this house. Bought this house because of Scentsy. I could not buy this house that we live in, that we're making a home. We've made a home that we're raising our baby boy in if it was not for Scentsy income. Okay? So people can laugh at you all they want. People can say that this isn't a real job, but listen to me. A 1099 is a real job. We get taxed for this money. This is a real job. And this business can change your life if you allow it. If you allow this business to be what it is, this amazing opportunity. When you change your mindset and know that this business isn't something that you need to selfishly hold on to, it doesn't need to be something that you should be ashamed of sharing. When you know the opportunity that you have in your hands, when you share that with people and share it with people who know or who you know whose lives could change forever because of this business, that's where it changes. Don't be ashamed of what you have with Scentsy. Don't be scared to share it. Live by the motto that I say of do it scared, okay? So when you were in a situation like I was, let me check on my son real quick. Hold on. He's fine. So when you were in a situation like I was with teaching, guys, so when I joined April 2016, I was teaching full-time special education, intensive behavior support, dealing with anxiety, crying to and from work every single day for the last year and a half. My last year of teaching, 2020 and 2021, we had to teach from home. I was held to a higher standard than general education teachers, and I was very jealous. I was very resentful of my friends that could schedule their, live teaching lessons and go on about their day, go to the beach, do whatever they wanted to do. And here I was as a special education teacher, and I had to live teach on Zoom for every single session, every single group that I had, okay? Didn't matter if they showed up, didn't matter if they did this or that. And I was burnt out on every single end. But I still worked my Scentsy business because that was my happy place, okay? And I saw the change. I saw, wow, I'm home. What if I worked my business so much so that I could stop teaching and this could be my life every single day? So that's where I got a taste of freedom. I got a taste of freedom because I was like, holy cow, what if I got to work my Scentsy business, my happy place, every single day just like this without teaching? So while I was doing my Zooms, because I was having to do this, that, and the other from the same time that school was in, watching my friends be able to do something completely different because they weren't special education. While I was doing those, in between those times, I was working Scentsy, and I fell in love with that freedom. I loved being home. I loved not having to go into work. And when I did go back into work, it was horrendous. It was horrendous We were having to do Zooms at the same time as teaching in person because they could choose if they wanted to be in school or not, and it was terrible. People were quitting left and right. People were deciding that teaching wasn't what it used to be, and it wasn't for them anymore. So no fault to anyone except for me for sticking around as long as I did. I was teaching by myself the 2020 to 2021 school year as the only licensed special education teacher. Only licensed special education teacher in the entire school, because the other teacher quit. We couldn't fill her position. The people who were coming to interview for the position were not people that we wanted in there. Didn't want just a warm body in there. The assistant quit. We got one really good one in there, but I was having to do everything. Okay, mind you, this is the same time I bought a house that year. I got married. The other teacher quit right before my wedding. I was going through such a tremendous amount of stress. I hit the very top of the company during this time. All of these great things were happening, but I was so miserable. I was crying every single day, and I had migraines. I was having to see a neurologist. I didn't know what to do. And those of you who might be friends with me on social media, you might have never known this because it didn't blast it on social media, but I was miserable. And I couldn't do it anymore. And so I worked really hard. With my Scentsy business, continuing to dive in and doing the things that I know I needed to do to get me where I wanted to be, and that was home. I wanted to be home because I got that taste during COVID, and I said, I'm not doing teaching forever, because I had seen my friends walk away. I saw Chastity walk away from teaching. I saw Katie walk away from nursing. I saw Ray walk away from nursing, and I reached out to those people and I said, how do I do it? What do I need to do? And I figured it out, and I worked really, really hard. I still work very hard. I work harder now that I'm home full-time, doing this full-time, than I ever did whenever I was teaching. But listen to me. When you see your friends doing something, like walking away from a full-time job that's no longer serving them, when they are doing the things that you want to do, pick their brain. Listen to their trainings. Figure out how to make it work for you. So when that moment comes when you can say, oh, it's going to get better. It's going to get better with teaching. And I'm being very real and raw with you guys, because I close this up a lot of my journey that I don't really remember what I went through. It's trauma response. I don't remember what I went through while I was working a full-time Scentsy business. I don't remember a lot of this, but I want you guys to know that you're so capable, because life happens, right? Life happens. So I remember at the end of the 2020 to 2021 school year, I remember being told that I wasn't going to have to be in the behavior classroom anymore, that I was asked, do you want to be in the academic one? And I said, absolutely. If you're going to keep me as a teacher, which I didn't know I could walk away. If you're going to keep me as a teacher, please put me back into academic groups where I'm not having to deal with behavior, okay? So I was told that. I was promised that. I was told that we had a hire. She was a wonderful addition to our school, and I was told it was going to get better. Okay? That was June. Fast forward to July. I got a text that the teacher we hired got another job that was in the county. She was not going to be in the classroom. I texted my assistant principal, who is part of my team, and I said, are you effing kidding me? Being very transparent with you guys. I texted the liaison who was overseeing our schools, who was one of my biggest supporters, as well as the assistant principal, and I said, are you effing kidding me? She said, I actually got another job too. And I dropped. I said, I can't do this. I can't do it. I texted Katie, I texted Chastity, and I started making a list of my bills. I started making a list of everything I was responsible for to make the world go round and make my house happy, to make my mortgage paid, to make my phone bill paid. I wrote everything down to the detail of Amazon Prime, of how much I had coffee out each week. And I, after 3 days of saying something to my husband, I said, I can't do this anymore. I cannot do this anymore. I am not happy. I refuse to step back in that school and just be treated how I was treated for a whole year. Being the only one doing lesson plans, the only one making schedules for these students, and it wasn't their fault. I loved teaching. I loved special education, but what it became was not what I went to school for. I was doing lesson plans, scheduling groups, parent contact, all the meetings, and if you know anything about special education, the paperwork is limitless. I refused since the very beginning of my teaching career to bring work home with me, to bring home work. I didn't bring home the paperwork. I didn't bring home any of that, but I was being told that I had to make ends meet. I was being told that I had to do this, that, and the other, 2 jobs of one, and not get a pay increase. I couldn't do it anymore. And if you know anything about teaching, the mental burnout is so much heavier than bringing work home will ever be. I couldn't stop my brain from worrying about these kids, from knowing that they weren't getting what they needed, but still trying my best anyways. Okay? I said I couldn't do it anymore. My husband said I was crazy. He said, you're not quitting Scentsy, or you're not quitting teaching. And I said, okay. So then I kept talking to my people. Your circle is very important, by the way. Your circle is extremely important. I kept talking to my people. I kept praying really, really hard. And I said, I can't do this anymore. I can't do this anymore. I sat down with him. I showed him the list of everything I was responsible for in our household. And he said, well, you're going to do what you want to do anyways. And I said, you're probably right. You are right. I'm going to do what I want to do anyways. I said, I can't do this anymore. He still said to me, no, we're not ready financially for you to walk away, blah, 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 blah. The next day, I looked at him. I was sitting on the couch and I said, do you want me to still be miserable? And that was where it changed. And he said, you know what? Walk away. Walk away. It's time. And all I needed from him was that validation, that he believed in me, that I could walk away. And guys, I walked away in August 2021 and I have never looked back. I made that phone call. My principal already knew why I was calling and he said, this is your resignation phone call, isn't it? And I said, yes, it is. I said, I'm sorry. I have not once cried about making that choice. I have not once cried. And that right there is the validation that I needed, that God opened every single door and then he shut every opportunity of me to think it was going to be better because he knew the plans for me way far in advance. And I stayed the course and I put my feet to faith, and that's the name of my team. I put my feet to faith. I walked out in faith and I jumped. And my word that year was go. I went. I left teaching in August of 2021, and here we are, guys. Here we are in February of 2023. This will be year 2 of me walking away from teaching because of Scentsy. So if you are in a place where you're like, I don't know if Scentsy can be that, it can 110% be that for you. You have to stay the course and you have to be consistent in the things that your sponsor, your leaders, us during this program are teaching you and pouring into you, because it's not easy. Life is going to happen whether you want it to or not. And some days are going to be like, yes, I can do all these things and go, 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 and so motivated. But then you're going to wake up the next day and anxiety is going to hit you. And you're going to say, can I do this? And you're going to be told no, and you're going to be ignored, and you're not going to have any parties booked, but you're still going to keep pushing. You're still going to keep pushing, because at the end of the day, your why is so much stronger than your boyfriend breaking up with you, or a fight happening with your best friend, or I don't know, whatever it might be, because your why is so deep rooted that you're gonna push past it, and you're gonna say, this is right now, this is not forever. I will get parties booked. I will have people join my team, and I am going to make this work for me. This is gonna change my life, and in turn, because I didn't give up, I'm going to be able to help people change their circumstances. So here I am, February 2023, doing Scentsy full-time, living my dream, because I stayed the course. Because I did it scared, and I didn't let my dreams stay dreams. My dreams have since shifted. I'm home with my baby. And let me tell you guys this. The week after I quit teaching, I was so stressed, right? I can't emphasize that enough. I actually was pregnant with my son and had no clue. So I quit at the beginning of August. I went to Superstar Director Summit in Idaho. It was my very first time being at home office. Game freaking changer. If you have the opportunity to go, especially Director Boot Camp, Star Director Summit, go. Make it a priority. Events and all of that will change your life, being around like-minded people. World tour starting, Scentsy Family Reunion in July. Make it a point to go. But I was pregnant then and didn't even know. God has huge plans for you. He has huge plans for you. But you have to walk it out. You have to do the work. You have to be consistent in the things that matter. You're booking parties, you're following up, you're taking care of your customers. You're creating a sticky environment for your customers who are going to be your next clubbers, who are going to be your next teamies, who you're training up, and you are helping them reach their goals. That's what this business is about. Yes, Scentsy products are amazing. Nobody's going to deny that. But this business, when you start seeing other people's lives being blessed, when people aren't living paycheck to paycheck, when people have a community of girls and guys that they can trust and love, that's where it changes. When you get that first paycheck where you're like, holy cow, this is paying for my gas, this is paying for my groceries, this is paying for my mortgage, this is paying for all of my bills and more. This income can replace my full-time job that I went to school for. That's where it changes. So my challenge for you is, do not give up on your dreams. Do not give up on your dreams. Do it scared, and keep doing it scared until it's not as scary anymore. Keep doing the things that matter in your business, and you're going to see a change. You're going to see an explosion. What you're doing right now, and what we're trying to help you guys so much with this program, is if you do the things that we're training on, 6 months from now, you're going to see the outcome. Okay? But nobody can do it. Nobody can do it for you. You have to do it for yourself. So, I'm sorry that was so long. That's my journey with Scentsy. It's changed my life for the better's not even the word. It has absolutely changed my life. I wouldn't be able to be where I'm at right now in my life if it wasn't for Scentsy. Some of my very best friends, the ones that I'm doing this training and this program with, I would never know if it wasn't for Scentsy. Okay? So know that you are worth it, you are capable, and we are cheering you on so hard. Please take this program seriously, because it can and will change your life. If you haven't watched the replay yet of our training on Monday night, please do that. Do the booking blitz, set the timer for yourself, push yourself, because we're doing these things right alongside of you, but we're training and doing these actionable tasks to show you guys that you can do it. We are doing it together, and it's okay if you're scared, but you still got to do it. Okay? So I love you guys dearly. I will talk to you later. Let me go get my son before he tries to maybe climb out of his crib, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.